What's up, everybody? My name is Kason. Welcome back to the WDL Season 2, Week 3 of the Heindler Division. The Rundle Division video already came out yesterday, but we've got 5 brand new best of 3s for you this week. Should be a lot of fun. And before we pop into the matchup previews, let's take a look at the standings through 2 weeks. Number 1, we've got a 2-way tie between Dr. Dickhead's Foolish Mortals and MacRain's Materia Hunters. Dr. Dickhead currently having that tiebreaker with the +4 overall game win loss. He has won 4 games and lost 0. MacRain also won 4 games, but he has lost 1. One of the series went to 3 games. So that is the distinction there, the tiebreaker. In third place, we've got a 3-way tie between JesusLBL's The Strawhats, Mavericks The Spaghetti Western, and Spike's Bebop's Crew. They are all 4 points, 1-0-1, and all at that +1 currently. In 6th place, we've got Xathria and the Ghostbloods, Ram9 and the Rock Boys, Turambar and the Ferrets, all with 3 points. Obviously, you can see the tiebreakers all over on the right side. JEBAW in 9th place currently with 1 point. He plays against Sandrock this week, currently with 0 points. So something's got to give. One of those 2 bottom opponents is going to climb up a bit. We'll have to go ahead and see how that looks or who ends up winning that. And let's go ahead and dive into that in our very first series of this week. For the first matchup of week 3, we've got JEBAW on the left side, guild leader of the guild Rebirth, coach of the Sappers, versus Catrah of the guild Lapis, coach of Sandrock. On the left side, JEBAW's units, we've got Perrine, we've got Mashri, Queen of Horn, Urel, Resnick, Stern, Victoria, Marielle, Ravi's, Revelka, and Ramada. A number of units that we haven't gotten to see him bring out yet. Urel, Resnick, and Stern. Would be very excited to see any of those come out. On the right side, for Catrah, he's got Esther, Saro, Setia, Prompto, Moraga, Vanera Winter, Silma, Curry, Gafgarian, and as we mentioned in the yesterday's video, Sosha, who just picked up her master ability too. She got a nice little buff there. Will we end up seeing her? I don't know. We'll have to find out. For JEBAW, I know that last week he favored the double tank composition with Marielle, Ravi's. Could we see one of those tanks come out with a damage dealer like Revelka or like Ramada that he brought out in week 1? We'll have to see. For Catrah's side, we haven't seen Winter Vanera yet. We haven't seen Moraga yet, and we haven't seen Prompto. So will we see any of those new units? We'll have to see. Hoping to see some new stuff, hoping for a 3-game series, but let's go ahead and jump into it. All right, guys, game number 1 between Catrah and JEBAW here. So we've got Catrah on the left side with Moraga, Saro, and Silma. And on the right side, we have JEBAW with Revelka, Ravis, and Urel. So Saro going to walk up, get that agility and evasion buff online. For JEBAW, what does he have? Urel going to go Indomitable Stance, gets the courage online, and gives herself a little bit of AP. Chi Barrier coming out from Revelka. Haven't seen her very much. Haven't seen her at all in the WDL, so this is exciting to see. Kind of a budget version of Garvel. And Immortal Spirit coming out from Moraga. Pops that courage. Will help him live at least 1 extra turn throughout the fight. Although Urel does have a way to remove courage, so we'll see. Ravi's going to pop courage herself. That new haste buff coming out from Silma, so that red mage job upgrade being really, really nice for her. Indomitable Spirit coming out from Saro, gets his own courage online. Silma's going to charge a spell. She's probably going to haste someone else. Rend the Heavens coming out, 3,300 damage onto the Moraga. Does not hit the Saro, however. Deflagration. I don't know how to say that. 5,500 damage, though. Very decent damage out of Revelka. Actually gets the hyper reactivity reflex on the Moraga. Taunting Blade coming out. Not a ton of damage, but gets his hate up. Not sure if he's running that Moraga helmet or not. So not sure how much hate he starts a fight with, but he should have plenty now. Another hyper reactivity coming out from Revelka. Helm Splitter. And Reflex is coming online for JEBAW. He's got 2 so far. Jamming Thrust coming out of Silva. However, Saro did get 1 dodge already, so some luck going both ways. Ravi's holding on with 116 AP. This is a tech that I see from JEBAW quite commonly. Has abilities off on Ravi's. I think this is so that he can try and get Steel Hearts off if she's ever out of range. Fist of Perforation, I think is what that was called. One-shots the Silma. Moraga is very low. Deflagration Blast? That's what I would call it. Honestly, looking really, really good for JEBAW right now. 3v1. Strike of Ruin comes out, kills the Ravi's. Revelka is low. Saro's a beast. This is not over. 2v1. Auto attacks the Revelka. And this is now a 1v1. Honestly, oh man. Catrah. Hammerfist comes out 32-33, so manages to hit the Saro, who's been evasive up to this point. Discontinuum +1 comes down. Defense down. Attack power down. Healing power down. Crucially, PSARO still has courage up and has... All right, guys, so I'll be straight up with you. I've watched this game already. I knew this was going to happen. I didn't want to tell you guys before because I wanted this game to be hype. Catrah and JEBAW, this was their first game that they played against each other. This was something that they both kind of messaged me about and was like, hey, what do we do about this? This game was incredibly close. They both felt like their own team was going to win when this happened. And after watching the fight, I personally felt like Catrah was going to win. And by breaking down all the steps, I will tell you kind of my thought process and what we did to resolve this issue. As you're going to see right now, PSARO has 1,269 health on the screen, has 62 AP, so plenty of AP to do whatever he wants. As you've seen up to this point, Urel has not been successfully able to hit PSARO except for one time when she was able to move behind him. PSARO still has Courage online, and Urel also has Courage online. However, PSARO has his Courage removal ability, and Urel does not have a way to do that in one turn. Urel is going to go next, and then PSARO goes. So basically, Urel would go next, probably just standard attack because she doesn't have a ton of AP or anything. Probably procs the Courage, probably does 1269 if she is able to successfully hit him, which I'm not sure she is. He would live with 1 health. And the next ability that he would do is probably the Courage removal, a skill that should kill and remove the Courage off of Urel. Now, since both members kind of thought their team would win, I personally think that if we played this in most situations, Catrah probably wins. However, Urel has physical reflex, so there is not a 100% certainty chance of saying what team wins this. Like, you could play this 100 times, and Catrah's team probably wins 90 or 92 of them. But he doesn't win 100 of them. And also Catrah was the one who DC'd. So there wasn't a super good way to resolve this. We unfortunately don't have a rule in place for this. And now that this has happened, there's something somewhat similar actually happened with me and Kopla last week. Don't need to dive into that. But anyway, I need to find a rule to be put in place for this. So because Catrah was the one who DC'd, I gave a few options and we decided to let JEBAW choose which option he wanted to resolve it as. Option number 1 was to throw a poll in Discord and allow specifically the players to decide who they thought would win, and whatever the highest vote would be, we would go with that. Option number 2 was to remake the game in the exact same fashion, like both teams, the exact same setups, exact same everything, and just run it back and see what happens. Obviously, this is probably going to favor Catrah in a replay because JEBAW happened to catch 2 reflexes that you never know if that's going to happen in the future. Then again, Catrah also caught a miss, like a dodge. So who knows the way the RNG goes, who wins that fight. I gave another option too, but basically said, you can choose any of these options, or the third option, final option, will be choose whatever comp you want to go. You can change items, you can change anything, and basically it's as if this game didn't exist. That is ultimately what JEBAW decided to go with. Yeah, honestly, this was a real bummer that this happened. I know where Catrah lives, they were dealing with some really bad ice storms that was causing power outages and internet outages, and this is probably why this happened. I know that personally because this was going on where I live as well. I'm only a handful of hours away from Catrah, and I was experiencing this the same way like earlier in the day. So as crappy as this is, this game was an absolute banger. This does not count in the series. I just wanted to show you guys this game because it was pretty hype. But I wanted to have full transparency as to what happened. So this next game that we go into is going to be the true game 1 of this series. All right, guys, in the new official game 1 here, like I said, I apologize for having to basically take a mulligan and redo this, but hoping for some more good games from the series. On Catrah's side, he ends up going with the exact same 3 units, and on JEBAW's side, it looks like he's doing the exact same 3 as well. So positioning might be a little different. I'm not entirely sure. They were allowed to change it up, and actually that is a different buff coming out from Urel. So probably a smart tactic, getting that Courage removal up on multiple units, because jamming thrust hurts a lot. Holy cow, from Silma. 1 shots through Rebelka. Immortal Spear coming on, but that Courage removal is really smart because both PSARO and Moraga can proc Courage on themselves, so getting that up, a good tactic from JEBAW. Gonna be up against it though in an early 2v3. Indomitable Spirit up for the PSARO. And Silma channeling a spell here. What does she have? Indomitable Stance comes out. So both units on JEBAW's side have Courage. And I think multiple units on Catrah's side also have Courage. That Red Mage new buff is so damn strong. Unit attack resist, speed up, or haste up. So strong. Double hasted units on Catrah's side. This is scary. What does Ravi's have? Courage remove. Again, that is why that buff is so nice. Unfortunately, though, with abilities off, she doesn't land any sort of extra damage. I do think Blade Bash is something worthwhile having on. I don't know if that's a mistake by him not having that on. Maybe that's in Paladin sub job. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe you have to pick between Blade Bash and Steelheart. I don't know off the top of my head, but the AoE Courage removal coming out from PSARO is big. Silma drops the Ravi. Silma's kind of popping off, and Discontinuum 1 kills the Urel. So unfortunately, the official game 1 not nearly as close as the original game 1 was. I think the original one, Catrah probably would have won, but this one was very, very one-sided. Curious to see what JEBAW comes out with a response. Does he end up changing his team comp? Because it looks like that one obviously like didn't work as well as he wanted it to. So let's go ahead and jump into the second game and see what happens. All right, guys, game number 2 here between JEBAW and Catrah. And the first thing, the big difference is JEBAW is bringing Perrine rather than Urel. So bringing that new 100 cost water unit, one of the two new 100 cost water units. Area attack resist up, multiple attack type resist up, and the HP recovery. Such an incredible first turn buff for her.
Let's take them all down.
And Silma, the same exact team coming out from Catrah. The Silma popped off in game 1. What does she have for game 2? The barrier crucially coming out from Revelka to hopefully try and resist being one-tapped by the Silma like last time. I don't think she got that off last time. I don't remember. Maybe she killed her through the barrier. But 11,000 HP from the tank, Ravi's, all the way on the right side. But PSARO's going to go Grease Lightning, pop the Limit Break onto Revelka. Does this one hit her? No, it doesn't. 4,377, so she does tank it up, but Silma's going to go next. Jamming Thrust's going to come out with that extended range. 7,700 is a lot. What can Perrine do? Perrine needs to try and carry this fight. She has 2 really strong buffs online, and she has 10,000 HP. Ravi should hopefully be able to tank up some hits. Taunting Blade comes out. PSARO again gets that courage up, physical damage up. What can Silma do? Can she reach the Ravis? No, she can't. Jamming Thrust into Perrine does 8,400. Good lord, this Silma is doing work. Perrine, Vortex Kick, good damage. Healing power down. Moraga gonna go Ruinous Axe. Ravi should have at least 1 more hit of hate on her. I believe she starts with 5 hate. She's taken 2 hits so far. But does PSARO have an AoE? No. Helm Splitter, Slash Attack resist down. Perrine needs to kill this Silma, or else this Silma is going to kill her, because I'm pretty sure Ravi's hate is gone, unless she's running something like Vow of Love. Motherly Punishment comes out, though. That just goes into the Moraga. Procs his courage. And I might be mistaken here. She might be running extra hate, but not enough extra hate. Jamming Thrust comes out, kills the Perrine, and this Silma continues to put on a show. Strike of Ruin comes out from the PSARO. Courage remove gets the game 2 win. And unfortunately, those games weren't quite as competitive, but I thought they were pretty enjoyable to watch regardless. Still wanted to put these 2 players on the thumbnail. I want to always try and get some new teams on the thumbnail whenever I can, just to give everybody a little bit of love. Honestly, that first game that didn't count was a banger. It was a little disappointing. That being said, hats off to Catrah. Some really impressive team comps that he brought out. I said this before. He might have been 0-2 to start the season, but I don't think this is an 0-2 team. I truly think that I had his team ranked too low in the standings. He's put up a hell of a fight in the first 2 weeks, even with going 0-4 in his games. Like, he's brought them down to the wire every time. And especially with like the Silma Red Mage upgrades and stuff like that, I think this team could potentially be very scary throughout the season, especially the more he plays with it and figures it out. So hats off to both of these players. Exciting to watch. And let's go and check out the second match that we have of this week. The second matchup of week 3, we've got Turambar of the guild Get Swifty, coach of the Fire Ferrets, versus Spike, coach of Bebop's crew, Guild Thunder Gods. I want to mention, these are 2 guild leaders. Spike actually recently promoted to guild leader of our Guild Thunder Gods, so congrats to him. And Turambar is the guild leader of Get Swifty. So Two kind of big WoTV people here going against each other, so it should be exciting. Turambar on the left side currently sitting at 3 points with 1 series win and 1 series loss. Spike sitting at 4 points with a mitigated loss and a series win. So big implications to the standings here. Two really, really good opponents, and I'm excited to see how this matchup plays out against each other. For Turambar, he's got Jaden Rundall, he's got Lucia Halloween, Lightning, Orlando, Aerith, Engelbert, Sakura, Elshra, Slime, and Titus. For Spike on the right side, we've got Oberon, Heindler, Resnick the Hoppy, Celis, Garvel, Luel, Raldor, Phoebe, Adelard, Little Leela, and Mish. For Turambar, I know he really likes to use that like kind of healing support Slime, and also has a tank at 50 cost. Would not be surprised at all to see him bring out one of those. Will we finally see the Lightning and Orlando come out together? I kind of doubt it, based on the fact that Spike has some really, really good Earth units, but maybe we see something like a Jaden Sakura, Jaden Engelbert, or maybe even brings out that Halloween Lucia with Aerith that we have seen previously to some good success. For Spike's side, I know that he likes his Earth units. We saw Resnick the Hoppy only at level 115 kind of pop off last week. He's also got that Oberon combination that he can pair with her, or he could even do something like Resnick the Hoppy, Luel, and maybe Adelard or something like that. I know he likes to use Celis, and maybe, just maybe, as Turambar said, that he dares him to use Garvel in any one of his series. Maybe he brings it out against him this week. I don't know, but we'll have to go and find out. Let's jump into this match and see what happened. Game number 1 between Turambar and Spike. We've got the Titus showing on the left side with a very hefty magic stat. And speaking of hefty magic stats, that was an even heavier one on the right side for Spike. He was hovering Celis with 4,300 magic. I'm curious to see what units he is bringing out here with him. And on the left side, we got Turambar with the Titus, Jaden Sakura, and Spike. Spike? Did you forget what the cost limit is? Or is this like Omega Brain? Celis is 90 cost, Adelard is 50, and Mish is 30. So he is running a 170 cost team out of his potential 220. Interesting tactic by Spike. He is a creative player, but the only UR unit he brought is dead immediately. This is... I hope you have some really cool text that I'm not thinking of. Abyssal Mire comes out from the Mish, so not the Toad. Gets the CT down, which could be crucial. However, I don't know, man. Adelard and Mish versus this team, it's going to be an uphill climb. This is either some Omega Brain stuff coming up from Spike, or Turambar has paid this guy off. Very interesting tactic. I don't think we've ever seen a team this low of cost limit. 99.59 coming out, the Rending Brightblade. Obviously, this does not look like whatever he was trying to set up. I'm sure he had something in mind, but this is very rough. Obviously, Celis not getting the Runic Blade up immediately was pretty big. That might be a new record for the quickest game in our season, this season. Wow, that was incredibly impressive by Turambar. I think for Spike, he definitely needs to get that Runic Blade up first to make sure that he has any sort of chance, or else Sakura is going to pop the Celis. This is actually very similar to yesterday's video. I think this happened in the Rundall division also, where a Celis did not get Runic up and got obliterated by Sakura. So very interesting that this kind of happened twice. I'm curious to see, does Spike bring out the same team in game 2? I'm curious to see what the plan was. Again, like Adelard can do damage, don't get me wrong. I just think there's probably some other comps that he could have brought for more extra damage. But maybe he's thinking that he has to go magic against Turambar. And I'm not sure off the top of my head what other threats he has as high cost magic units. So I don't know. Maybe that's his thought process. I think he has Luel. I don't know why he decided to go with Adelard over Luel. I'd be very curious to pick his brain about that. But let's go ahead and jump into game 2. Does he bring the same comp, or does he change it up? Game number 2 between Spike and Turambar. The exact same magic staff coming up from Spike. I know that these guys got all of their matches done in one night. So maybe not a lot of time to revamp their team. I'm hoping that Spike gets the Runic Blade off this time, because then it'll be a little more competitive. So this is a different setup. And Titus being on that one side, so it looks like Runic should go off. So hopefully we get to see what this strategy or technique is from Spike's side. So the Runic Protect and Shell coming out from Celis, that is a much, much better start. So what does he have here? Turambar going to Protect a Familiar with Aerith, getting that magical shield online. Going to help with against that magic damage. Is this Abyssal Mire, or is this the Toad spell? Misha's running up and attacking right away. Gets the Black Rose Helena TMR on Adelard, a unit that I have not seen much, so don't get me wrong, I'm excited to see him. The Toad comes out and Toads the Titus. TOADS, the new tank. I will try and come up with as many Toad pun names as I can throughout the season, because we're seeing a lot of Toads this season. And that tank, crucially, I don't think Titus got his shield buff off, which, not that it matters because they're kind of separated, but that's like the only way to get hate onto Titus. He has to get that ability off. He does not start with initial hate unless you are running it with equipment or BCs. Re-Raise comes out from the Aerith. Sealing Thrust damage caps the Titus, so I'm sorry for disrespecting you, Adelard. Damage caps the Titus, very, very nice. He is not known as a magic tank, but still, some impressive stuff. Toad comes out from Mish. Does he get the double Toad? I can't see. Nope. She is a bat, not a Toad, and that one-shots the Mish. Is she running Toad resist? That would have been pretty nuts if he was able to chain Toads, but unfortunately he drops. So Refocus comes out, gets the AP on Halloween Lucia. I don't think she needed it. Celis does not look like she has another buff to use. Adelard smartly separating from the Celis, so he will not get caught in an AoE, hopefully. In the Limit Break coming to come out, Arcane Assimilation. How much damage does this do to Celis? This is one of the only attacks that will actually hurt her. 1529 is not a lot. Arcane Shot 689, not a lot either. This is a much, much better setup for Spike than it was last game. And what can Celis do here? Interesting. So she just standard attacks. And I know that was a lot of damage. Props to you, Adelard. Only 277 health left. Aerith is going to have to limit break, I think. I don't think she can afford to take the time to take a casting spell. Yeah, Healing Wind's going to come out. Get the defense up, but the defense up won't matter. Can this Adelard put in enough work to take out this team? Flare going to come out. Doesn't this... Yeah, 20... Okay, so apparently they ate up all the Runic already. So Arcane Shot does a decent amount of damage. Standard attack, though, that physical shield is going to save her. I think Adelard is going to have to crit to kill her in one hit. Unhappy ending comes out. Arcane Shot does take out the Celis. I think Adelard needs to crit, or this is probably over, because I think Aerith will heal her up. And he actually standard attacks. Is he out of jamming thrusts? Does he only have so many abilities turned on? This is really interesting. Celis and Adelard both going for standard attacks rather than going for a magical ability. And the Toad's Curse comes out, toads him in arcane shots and get the kill. That is very, very interesting to me. He did not have re-raise on, right? No, he didn't. Okay. Interesting. Turambar picks up the 2-0 win. A nice series win by him. I am very curious on Spike's ability on off and stuff like that. Did Celis and Adelard not have any attacks online other than Adelard's jamming thrust? Because Adelard used jamming thrust, I think, twice and then didn't use a magical attack at all. And I know I called this out last week, but Celis chose to physical attack rather than do an ability attack. And I was saying that I thought that Spike's Celis abilities were off. Somebody noted in the comments that Rach has had a magical shield online, I think, if I'm thinking of the right match. However, she did that exact same thing in this match, and that is a physical shield, not a magical shield. So I do wonder if he has all attacks off just to try and make sure the tank abilities go off. Maybe he got scared after the first game, not getting Runic off, that he just turned everything off. I don't know. Adelard needed some more damage, and he didn't have enough damaging skills. If Celis had a single like Sleep Blade or Bioblade on, I think Spike would have won that match, even with the really low cost team of 170. Like if she had Bioblade, I think they win that, because I think Halloween Lucia probably dies. Either way, good series. I'm excited to watch Adelard and Mish. They had some pop off moments, I'm not gonna lie, but I give credit to Spike for trying a comp that was only 170 cost. So GG's to both players here. Turambar picks up another 3 points, sits himself up at 6 points total throughout the season. We've got a few more matches for you guys. Let's go ahead and check those out. For our third matchup of this week, we've got JesusLBL of the guild Get Swifty, coach of the Strawhats, versus Dr. Dickhead of the guild Lapis, coach of the Foolish Mortals. Dr. Dickhead currently sitting in first place with that 4-0 total game record, 2-0 series record, and JesusLBL with 4 points. So whoever wins this series is in very, very good shape in the standings, and honestly, the loser of this series will still be right in the thick of it regardless. For JesusLBL, he's got Starlight Elena, Sodali, Christea, Helena the Black Rose, Locke, Titus, Rachez, Yuna, Cyrell, Ryryu, and Mia. And for Dr. Dickhead, he's got Little Lila the Bold, he's got Dark Fina, Ibarra, Astrius, Lucio, Camilo, Minwu, Seymour, Murmur, and Zazan. Dr. Dickhead, up to this point, hasn't changed up his comp at all. He's gone with Zazan, Little Lila, and Dark Fina to tremendous success through these first 2 weeks. Does he stay with that exact same comp for a third week? He might until he loses with it. We'll have to take a look. For Jesus, he might have some things that can give it a run for his money with that strong light comp. He's got Starlight Elena and Locke to pair together, or he can do with a Starlight Elena Sodali. We also saw him bring out Cyrell to some really good success last week. So will we see one of those combinations again, or does he go with something like his water comp that he tried in game 2 of last week? We'll have to go ahead and find out. Let's see what these players brought out for this third match. All right, guys, game number 1 of the Dr. Dickhead versus JesusLBL series. On the left side, Dr. Dickhead's running that standard Little Lila, Dark Fina, Zazan team. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. He's 4-0 with it in total games. He's running it again. Little Lila's secret training, going to get that slash attack piercing rate buff up, the self-heal when she's low. Elena's going to pop courage. Yuna going to channel something here. What is she going for? Dark Fina probably going re-raise? I don't think she's in range to damage. Aurora Blessings coming out from Cyrell. Probably a good tech considering they're going up against that Dark Squad. Curse of the Serpent going to get re-raise and AoE resist up, and the re-raise on Elena. So she has courage and re-raise. This makes Elena so damn hard to kill. Keenblade coming out from Zazan, a really nice, honestly so nice that you can use a 20 cost unit to pop Keenblade, even just for that. Pure Hearts Never Die, going to get the courage and AoE resist up. Both teams are online. Crystal Shine Bright just barely does not kill Zazan. How crucial is that? We'll have to find out. Dark Fina going to channel an attack spell. What does she go for here? Nimble movement, jump up, and move up. 52 health Zazan lived with. Murderous Blade goes, but he misses. But just being alive should soak up another hit. Yeah, Frost Axe comes out from Cyrell. So crucially, even though he didn't do anything, he kind of soaked up a hit. That sometimes can help. Delightful Destruction comes out. That was not a lot of damage. Comet is good damage though. That tells me that there's probably a lot of dark resist built up on Jesus' team here. Prismatic Punishment comes out. The AoE limit break. And what can she do here? Some really good damage on a Little Lila, honestly. The AoE resist helping up Dark Fina a ton. Energy Ray comes out from Yuna. This should proc Courage on Little Lila. Does it kill Dark Fina? Yes, it does. She's going to pop with Re-Raise. So the Courage and Re-Raise up. But, I don't know. Jesus still has Re-Raise on Elena. This is looking pretty decent for Jesus. Shadow Flare. Does it hit Elena? Yes, it does. And it drops AoE resist. Pops the Re-Raise. Oh my gosh, it just clumped everybody up. Little Lila's going to go next. Can she triple kill? Oh no, not like this. Delightful Destruction just triple kills Jesus' team. Oh my goodness. That actually looked really good for Jesus. I honestly thought he would win that game, and that clump up. The Shadow Flare bringing everybody together won them that game, I think, because all three were in range. I don't think I've ever seen a Shadow Flare pull in everybody up and set somebody up as nicely as that play did right there. I don't know if that was intended, but damn, that was impressive by Dr. Dickhead's team. I will say I helped Jesus scrim this week. He asked me about helping him with some Little Lila and Dark Fina teams, and he was doing pretty well against mine. But my team did not do that. My team did not do a Shadow Flare into the Delightful Destruction combo. That was disgusting. What does Jesus have for a game number 2 adjustment? How does he bring this to a third game series and avoid Foolish Mortals from going a perfect 6-0? We'll have to find out what he brings. Let's jump into it. So game number 2 here between Dr. Dickhead and Jesus. What is the switch up? Jesus goes with Sodali, Cyrell, Yuna. So not going with the standard light comp. And Little Ila, gonna do the same early turn rotation as game number 1. Sodali, I know last week did this. Yeah, Immortal Dogma, Re-Raise up, Hate up. This is normally not incredibly important for tanks, but honestly for this format where you have certain units that you would like to take some aggro that don't have innate hate, If you're going against something that doesn't have the spell, that can be actually very, very useful. Boon of the Lion coming out from Yuna, getting that AoE resist up on both her and Cyrell. Re-raise again up on Darkfina, so the exact same turn rotation coming out from Dr. Dickhead. So Zazan going to run forward. Does he get one shot this time? That's what I want to know, because last time he lived crucially, and honestly, that taking one more turn for Cyrell to kill him was probably the difference in that fight. Divine Sacrament come up. He is ready to do a ton of damage if he hits. And Sorceress's Liberation, I believe this is her own TMR, getting that casting time reduction down. Constricting Cleave actually tanked very well from Zazan. That surprises me. Cyrell's a beast. Energy Ray, though, you have to imagine this is about to dunk Zazan. However, crucially, I'm pretty sure Jesus wants that going into one of the two dark units. The fact that it hits Zazan is probably not what he planned. Graceful and Doing come out. Tanked very well from Yuna. There has to be a lot of dark resist over here. Only 3,500 damage, removes the buff. I'm not sure how much that matters. Crystalline Reckoning, if this charms Leela, this could be absolutely massive. 4,700, it does land the charm. Oh, but Cyrell's gonna go next. She hits Constricting Cleave. Oh no, that is not good for Jesus. He wanted Leela to try and decimate the Darkfina. Darkfina's gonna go next. Does she go Shadow Flare again? She does. This won them the game last time. What's it do here? It pulls them into a group. Yuna's going to drop. Does not have re-raise. Can Darkfina double kill or kill one of these units? Yes. She deletes the Sottily, and you have to imagine this is over at this point. Cyrell's a beast for 50, but 2v1ing takes out the little Leela. I think she still has re-raise on her, right? Maybe this is not over? Comet comes out, 4840. I mean, she would have to one-shot Darkfina, which I'm not sure she can do. And then she would have to kill her again. She can do it. 85-10 crit is incredibly impressive. She has 9 AP. She could probably take her out with an auto attack, but who goes first? Darkfina goes first. What is the casting time? And does that casting time buff maintain after she re-raises? It doesn't matter. I don't know what the answer to that question is. Comet takes her out. Damn, Cyrell actually almost pulled that off. That was actually incredibly impressive. Man, a shout out again to Zazan for taking the first hit, and taking the unit limit break was pretty massive, because that would have been a lot of damage onto the dark units if Yuna had gotten that off on one of those two other units. But dang, this team from Dr. Dickhead is one of those things. It's like, hey, you know what I'm bringing, and I don't care. I'm just going to run you over with it anyway. He is 3-0 in his series and 6-0 perfectly in games with his team comp. I don't think Darkfina has died yet this season. Like, she technically died there and got re-raised, but I don't think she has ended a battle with a death yet. That could be a mistake. I'm not entirely sure about that, but I don't think she has. Incredible showing from Dr. Dickhead. Honestly, a really valiant effort from Jesus' team. I know he's got a good squad and he's a good player. He will find more wins throughout the season, but this is a tough matchup for him. But GG's, those were two banger games. Hopefully we get some other good ones throughout the day here. And let's jump into the next series. Okay, guys, matchup number 4. We've got Maverick of the Guild Vandals, coach of the Spaghetti Western, versus MacRain of the Guild Hydra, coach of the Materia Hunters. So up to this point, MacRain sitting at the top of the table with 6 points. Dr. Dickhead winning that last series that we just saw. Pressure's on him to keep that up, to try and keep up with him in the standings, but currently sitting at a 2-0 record, doing very, very well. On the other side, we've got Maverick, who had a convincing 2-0 win against Turambar last week, currently sitting at 4 points, just has so much magic firepower on his team. Let's take a look at the rosters. So he's got Velas, he's got Skahal, Mont, King of Leonis, Little Eel Halloween, Agrius, Gargus, Ravi's Winter, Salir, Mustadio, and Liarte. And on the right side for MacRain, he's got some OP units. He's got Glacial, Flagbearer, Cloud, Elsrel Summer, Ildira Sweetheart, Regular Ildira, Lemire, Kane, McLeod, Dario, and Naya. And some absolute power picks on both of these sides. Both teams have some units that drastically outperform their costs, in my opinion. Gargus is a beast for 70. Ravi's Winter is a beast for 70. Naya is probably the best 40 cost unit in the game. And Glaciella Flagbearer is a beast at 100, and Skahal, man, at 90. There's just so many good units on both of these teams. Regardless of what happens, I would not be shocked to see both of these teams in the top 4 at the end of the standings. At the end of the season, we'll have to look. I don't know what's going to happen, but that being said, let's go ahead and dive into this matchup and see who ends up winning. Game number 1 here of MacRain on the left side versus Maverick on the right. MacRain bringing the Sweetheart Ildira. So is it an evasive Sweetheart Ildira, is he only doing it because there are some ice units on Maverick's side? Not entirely sure. Sweetheart Ildira, sorry, not Glaciella. Yes, Glaciella. I was about to say Regalia Glaciella. That's not true. Flagbearer Glaciella and Naya. Versus on the right side, we have the triple UR Agrius, Winter Ravis, and Gargus. So this Fire Sweetheart Ildira might be really nice against this double ice, to be honest.
Protect the Holy Knight. Hang in there.
Instill, Sealed, Endurance, Reaction Block Rate, Physical Shield up. A nice AoE buff here. And we're going to have 2 units here with shields online on Maverick's side. Princess's Royal Guard gets the regen on the whole team. Agri's going to walk forward. And what does Naya go for here? She walks up to the tippy top there. Goes for a Reflect. So the Reflect will be good against Gargus. The other 2 units, it won't really matter. But that could be pretty massive. Gargus could potentially do a lot of damage to himself here. Sweetheart Ildira, what is she going to do? She walks forward. She pops the Limit Break immediately on Gargus. Letter Bomb of Love. This drops CT to anybody it hits. And, oh, it actually hits Agrius too. I did not realize that. It did more to Agrius than it did to Gargus. That very much surprises me. Negation Order. So remove AP on the attack. That's a cool buff. Naya. I don't know where you're going, honey. You're a little out of position here. Howl of Bolt comes out from Agrius. Silence on the Naya is kind of major. Blinding Trinity comes out. Does not kill either unit. Auto Cure also doesn't do a lot. 738, but it's something. That could potentially help Agrius live a hit. What does Gargus have here, though? Who does he go for? There's a Reflect on Sweetheart Ildira. Does this kill him? Yes, that very much kills him. Gargus takes out himself. Naya's going to pick up her first kill of the season with the Reflect. We saw a very similar thing on the Rundle division. Oh no, this gets dodged by Sweetheart Ildira. I saw her move. Holy Knight Hijinks. This will kill the Naya, but she was silenced anyway. She wasn't going to do anything in this fight. This Sweetheart Ildira. Honestly, Naya did her job with that Reflect. There's still a fully healthy Glaciella in the back. Judgment Blade Plus comes out. Missed again. Crucially, does remove the re-raise. I didn't even see that she had re-raise on her. Maybe she did. I don't know. Barrier Break Lance comes out, kills the Agrius. Winter Ravis is a beast, but this is a major uphill climb. Crippling Cut. Yeah, that's just not going to do enough. Sweetheart Ildira, what does she have? Toxic Assault lands the poison. This Ildira kind of putting in work. Shining Conviction comes through, doesn't die. However, she's poisoned. Regardless of what she does, she's going to die this turn. She's only got 171 health. And just to show off a little bit, Sweetheart Ildira lands a dodge. As my dog barks in the background, I apologize. The poison takes out Winter Ravis. And the poison gets the kill. Honestly, a really good showing by MacRain again. I expect nothing less. But yeah, MacRain picking up the game 1 win. Curious to see what Maverick adjusts in game number 2. That Reflect is just really major, especially against a team like Mavericks who has so many magic threats. It's like, it's such a big deterrence because you want to bring, you know, Gargus, you want to bring Little Leela Halloween and stuff like that. But if they hit the person that's reflected, they could potentially just kill themselves with it. That's just so massive. So what does he end up going with the switch up in game 2? Does MacRain switch to the like a different thing or keep the same team? Notoriously, he's switched it up even after game wins. So I'm not sure if he'll do the same team or not. But let's go ahead and jump into game 2 and see what happens. Game number 2 here. Sweetheart Ildira shown. Little Leela Halloween on Maverick's side. So again, another user that could be reflected, but maybe he just goes a more supportive style. Maybe he just goes like heals in Limit Break. We'll find out. Running double magic, actually. So if he runs Reflect, there's a good chance Aeroga 3576. So doing just like rushing in with Little Leela, kind of similar to last week. Kinblade coming out from Winter Ravis. Is Glaciella in range to hit immediately? No, she's not. She's going for Spirit of Lizette. Physical Magic Shield, always nice to get in line. Accuracy up, probably not as relevant. But Little Leela can be a little dodgy, and she does get the re-raise online. So she probably did that last game too, and I just missed it. Zombie Transformation coming out from Gargus. So this way, at least, if he hits himself with a Reflect, he will come back to life and then gets to hit somebody. I imagine this is probably Reflect again from Naya, right? Level 4 Eroga before the reflect goes off. Sweetheart Ildira crucially lives that. That was very close, but does... Wow, Rabbies can't reach there. I thought Rabbies would be able to reach.
Thank you.
Oh, actually, I'm looking at it. Sweetheart Ildira is pretty high up. I thought she was closer than that. The map is a little misleading. Only 136 health. Yeah, that was a big live. Oh, 7,300 damage is a lot. Yeah, the fact that Sweetheart Ildira lived that hit is pretty massive now. And the reflect is online. Neither one of these, well, the second person can, but one of these is going to take some damage. Wait, it actually got missed. That might be better for Maverick. The fact that it got dodged. The full life comes out. This is actually kind of looking good for Maverick now. The fact that that missed, I don't even know that you wanted to hit. Because now Winter Rabbies could potentially take out Sweetheart Ildira. If Sweetheart Ildira doesn't kill her right now, which she very well might. She goes for Letter Bomb of Love. This is hitting the whole party. This Ildira with 136 health gets a massive AoE hit on it. Takes out 2 members. Wow. The fact that she lived with that little health is actually massive, and now she's just like 3v1 showing off. This is crazy.
Just be yourself.
The reflex too, just to rub it in his face. Doesn't she still have reflect on her? That would have actually been pretty hilarious if he killed himself with the reflect. The dispelling, whatever, takes him out. Re-raise comes up. And Sweetheart Ildira, is she going to get the triple kill? Yeah, she's going to get the triple kill. 2655. Sweetheart Ildira living with 136 health, putting on an absolute show for MacRain. Honestly, if she died early, I think Maverick takes that convincingly, but she just went absolutely nuts. I don't know. Actually, no, I think she still had a re-raise, didn't she? I don't know. I don't remember. Either way, hats off to MacRain. This dude has brought in so many different comps throughout 3 weeks. It's honestly really impressive, and he's done really well with all of them. Maverick, another player who only currently at 4 points right now, I think is probably another top player in this division. Again, would not be surprised to see him at top 4 at the end of the season. So a really good series, even if it was only 2 games. We've got one more for you guys today. Let's go ahead and jump into it. Last matchup of Season 2, Week 3 for the Heindler division. We've got Ram9 on the left side of the Guild Howl, coach of the Rock Boys, versus Xathria of the Guild Lapis, coach of the Ghostbloods. For Ram9 and Xathria, they're both currently sitting at 3 points, so right in the middle of it. Whoever wins this series will be at least tied for top 4, or it might be like 3rd, 4th place. We'll have to take a look at it at the very end. But whoever wins is in a really good shape, and honestly, whoever loses it, still right in the middle of it, since they're already coming in with 3 points. For Ram9, he's got Eliza, Chunak, Fryevia, Ketone, Miranda, Kilfei, Balo, Uni, and Severo. And for Xathria, he's got Sylvie, he's got that Knight of Rune Stern, Snow, Golbez, Whisper, Lastwell, Fina, Shadowlinks, Valade, and Surges. For Ram9, we've seen that double missile comp, or rather triple missile comp, come out with Eliza, Uni. He's also got so much flexibility with those 30 cost units. He can bring Balo as a tank, Severo as a magic damage dealer, or Uni as a ranged physical damage dealer / like quicken haste canceller. So he can kind of function as both of those things. He's got Chunak, which we have seen in the Rundall division have some really good success. Haven't seen Ram9 bring him out yet, but he's been very, very good in the other division. Would not be surprised to see him at some point. Fryevi's a really solid tank, and he's got so many good 80-70 cost options to bring out a full UR team. Would not be surprised to see that. For Xathria, he's got 2 100 cost units that he has yet to bring out. He has not brought out Sylvie or Knight of Rune Stern yet. He's got some really, really other solid options, though. Snow, Lastwell popped off last week. Fina did her job as a healer. She did a great job. Shadowlinks, Valade, and Surges, but we haven't seen yet to this point. So the teams coming out from Xathria have been really, really creative, and I would be curious to see if we finally see some of those higher cost or lower cost units come out. We'll have to go ahead and take a look. Let's jump into the final match of this week. All right, game number 1 between Xathria and Ram9. Xathria hovering the Surges, and Ram9 hovering the Miranda with a decent magic stat. So would not be surprised to see also like a Kilfei here. This is probably a triple UR comp coming out from Ram9. He's got multiple options with this. So it is a Miranda Kilfei Ketone comp. So Xathria running Runestern, Snow, Surges versus the triple URs from Ram9. This should be a very cool match to see. And the map looks like it's auto-rotating based on what you can see on the units. That's pretty cool, actually. Hazard Render comes out 44-19. Decent damage to start out, but Knight of Runestern has no AP left. I'm actually surprised he has enough AP to Hazard Render on the first turn. Might potentially be running AP runes or something. I'm not entirely sure. In Freeze comes out. I've never seen that buff. That is probably a TMR that I'm not familiar with. Fast Cast comes out. Haste up. Energy Blaster, 5673. Not bad damage coming out from the Killfay. What can Ketone do here? So she's going to walk up. Drain Force, 3239. Also drops that attack and magic. Dispelling Thrust. Removes the buff and removes 100% shield. This is honestly looking kind of rough for Xathria just because Runestern doesn't have AP. It would have been so much nicer if he could get a buff and then triple hit Hazard Render on this turn, but he was not able to do that. However, Ravage comes out from Snow. Decent damage. Will he be able to heal back up? Actually, he did not get that off, but he did get the Courage up. Runestern crucially does live, though. Procs the Courage on Ketone, who gets to slow counter on Surges. Ketone's going to go, though. Is she going to Drain Force somebody here? No, she's just going to standard attack. So the fact that Snow was actually only on 1 health might be better for Xathria, because she didn't Drain Force, because she didn't need to. However, Dispelling Thrust is going to take Knight of Runestern out, and Surges is going to have to pull off a 1v3. I'm just not sure that's in the cards, especially for the fact that he's slowed Stave Collector. Not a limit break you get to see every day from Killfay. That is a lot of damage. Ram 9 takes game 1 in a convincing fashion. The team that I put up #1 in my preseason predictions makes me look smart in game #1. What does Xathria have as a response? Honestly, the way that Ram 9's team clumped up there, if Knight of Runestern had AP on turn 2, he might have won that, because Hazard Render can do so much damage, and he could have hit like literally all 3 units potentially. I don't know. We'll have to jump into game 2. Does he just change up positioning, move him further back, make sure to get the buffs off, or does he go with a completely different comp? Let's go ahead and find out and jump into game #2. So game 2 here, Xathria with a very high attack stat, Ram 9 switching it up, going with Severo. This means that very likely this is double missile. A lot of times when he runs the 30 unit, that means Alaya is probably coming, and probably Eliza, based on the attack stat, which it is. So it is the double missile and Severo. Xathria running the same team. He is backing up his units, though. You can see Runestern on the very back line, so he says, hell no, I need to get a buff off before this. Eliza going Arrow Storm of Removal. I don't think that's good for Ram 9 on turn 1, because that hits Surges, who is kind of like the makeshift tank for this team. I mean, Snow is a tank, but Surges can kind of work that way. Illusion buff coming out from Runestern, so now he has 55 AP. So he is much more online than last time. Snow has Courage and actually moves to the right. Is somebody on that side? Why did he move that way? Normally, like, Initial Hate can make you move that way. Oh, Severo is over there. And he just moved 2 spaces. I am pretty sure that Ram 9 is running Bowtie on Severo. I'm pretty sure. So Alaya, what is he going to go for? She goes for Quickfire Stance. Tons of AP on the table. What can Hazard Render? Just barely doesn't one-shot Eliza. She crucially lives that. Severo gets his job level 25 skill online, which, if you remember my series from yesterday, is absolutely crucial to get online. Surges, Leaping Assault. That was 7.6k from Surges. Damn, boy. I don't know why I said it like that, but that was really impressive. Ram 9, Alaya, Hill of Bullets. Misses the Runestern. So this Runestern is fairly evasive. She's probably going to have to go Sharpshoot to hit. Flare, Severo can do decent damage. 38-25 is not bad, but Runestern, can he take her out? Not in one hit. Mighty Break's going to come out. Drop the attack stat, though, which will help. Snow going to come up and beat up Severo. Pops the Courage. Alaya going to have a lot of AP. Can she reach Snow? Yes, she can. So she goes Guns of the Dragon Princess here. And Severo, 1 health. How much damage does he have? Water. Procs the Courage from Snow, but he gets that heal back up. Knight of Runestern going to have to buff because he doesn't have the AP. He's got 23 online now. This is still a very uphill climb for Ram 9, though. The Immobilize, kind of nice that she landed on Snow because he can't close the gap. Rending Tri-Shot, did that kill? No, it didn't. He is low, but he's not dead. Swift Slash comes through. She does not die. She has reflex, so this is never technically over, but this is a major uphill climb. Eli's going to have to somehow 1v1 Runestern, which she has plenty of AP, but she needs to land a reflex. She doesn't. 1856. The Runestern comes through clutch for Xathria. Xathria picks up a game 2 win. So in our last series of the day, we're going to a third game, which I love to see. Does Ram 9 go back to the original 3 UR unit setup, or does he stick with the missile units? I have to imagine he probably switches it up in some fashion. Xathria winning with this comp, does he stick with the same thing, just keeping those unit backs to make sure Runestern gets his AP online? We'll have to see. Let's go into game 3 and our final game of the day. Game number 3, Xathria versus Ram 9. Still showing the Surges and showing the Miranda, so I imagine this is probably the game 1 team that we saw from Ram 9. So these are the 2 teams that have won so far. Yep, and we get the exact same comps. So this is the game 1 team from Ram 9 and the team that Xathria ran the other 2. So Zombie Transformation coming out from Ketone. She's going to be incredibly hard to deal with that Courage when she's high health and also having re-raise. Miranda probably going to go with the fast cast buff. Illusion, nice AoE buff on all 3 units. Snow probably going reprieve. Yep, gets the Courage buff online. Sitting with 11,000 health is a very tanky boy. Crucially, does not have his heal up buff online though. Only has Courage. Nighthawk actually misses. Is this an evasive Ketone? Or his Surges just have no accuracy whatsoever? I don't know. It could be. He could be running somewhat of an evasion build with the Ketone in the comp. Earth has a lot of evasion cards. Miranda's going to channel something. Barrier Breaker comes out from Runestern. 4288, probably not the damage that Xathria wanted to see. Water God Dispeller kills the Surges and procs the shield on Knight of Runestern. Smite 2 coming out though. Haste remove, life remove of the Killfay. Ketone probably going to Drain Force? No Debilitator, actually. Procs the Courage on Snow. Miranda should be able to pick up this kill. Knight of Runestern going to be up against it in a 2v1. She actually auto-attacks, so she doesn't have the AoE to hit both. He goes Kongu. 4,400. Not enough damage. He's only got 5 AP left. I think this is probably a win for Ram 9 here in game number 3. She's actually going to go pop the Limit Break. This could potentially stop him. It does. The animation gets canceled, but the stop does not. The stop goes through. Miranda, what do you have? Dispelling Thrust. Picks up the kill. Knight of Runestern going down. And Ram 9 picking up the win in game number 3. So Xathria, even though he got the game 2 win, couldn't close out the series. He will get a point from this series, but Ram 9 going to put himself up at 6 points and be in the thick of it, somewhere in that top 4 in the playoff seeding. So awesome matches this week. Props to the Heindler division for these. Let's go ahead and check out the assists, the kill leaders, and also the standings. Okay, guys, with 3 weeks of matches all in the books, let's take a look at the assist leaders for the Heindler division. We've got number 1, Zazan, the N rarity Zazan with 16 assists. He has been brought to 6 games. And he has recorded 2 kills and 16 assists, and that team has won every single time. And that is why you see Little Leo the Bold at number 2 on the assist leader. And you also see Dark Fina now at number 7. That 3-man comp from the Foolish Mortals has been so strong. It is a perfect 6-0 in games and 3-0 in series, and that is why you see them here on the assist leaders board. We've got Naya here, though, at number 3 for Materia Hunters. And honestly, Materia Hunters and MacRain have 3 units himself on this list. He has done a fantastic job at bringing out a ton of different units from his team, utilizing so many different pieces. It's honestly been very impressive. The Fire Ferrets, Aerith with 10 assists, same with the Strawhats, Yuna, and Gargus from the Spaghetti Western, all at that 10 assist mark, all performing really well. And Killfay down at the bottom for the Rock Boys, also recording 8 assists. It was nice seeing her come out this week with that full UR comp for Ram 9. Diving into the kill leaders, though, should be no surprise here. Dark Fina at number 1 with 9 kills. Again, on that Foolish Mortals 3-man squad with those double 100 cost Dark units. It's been incredibly impressive and very, very scary for the whole league. We've got 2 more Dark units coming up. Lucia Halloween of the Fire Ferrets with 8 kills, 2 kills per game. And Little Lilo the Bold with 7 kills for the Foolish Mortals. Number 4, shout out here, Silma for Sandrock, the MR unit. She's been putting in work with that enhanced jamming thrust ability that she gets. Miranda, speaking of red mages, the Rock Boys, tied for that 4th spot with 6 kills. Ildira Sweetheart, 5 kills. So a lot of names that maybe a little surprising to a number of people here, but a little Dear Sweetheart with 5 kills, and then 4 more units all at that same mark. PSARO for Sandrock, Aliyah Rundle for the Rock Boys, Cyrell for the Strawhats, and Snow for the Ghostbloods. I believe I got all these stats correct this week. I know I goofed on a couple last week, so I apologize, but I believe this should all be correct. And let's go ahead and look at the standings to close out this video. The last thing to show for this week, in first place, we've got Dr. Dickhead's Foolish Mortals and MacRain's Materia Hunters, both sitting at 9 points, that perfect 3-0 series record. However, MacRain has lost 1 single game. He has 6 game wins, 1 game loss, so technically, Dr. Dickhead is in first place due to that tiebreaker. In third place, we've got Turambar's Ferrets and Ram 9's Rock Boys, both sitting at 6 points. And again, due to the tiebreaker, Turambar's team has the slight edge, being +1 in total game win-loss. But Ram 9 managed to win 2 series, so that's huge. Sitting there with 6 points in the top 4 right now is looking very, very good. These standings are so tight, though. We've got Maverick with the Spaghetti Western, Xathria and the Ghostbloods, Spike and Bebop's crew, and JesusLBL all sitting at 4 points. I believe I made a mistake on the graphic last week with JesusLBL's plus minus win-loss. I think I had it at +1. In reality, it was actually even at the time because he had lost 2-1 and then 1-2-1. So I apologize if I made that mistake in the graphic last week, if you somehow made that connection, but it should be correct now. That being said, there's still a 4-way tie for 5th at this moment. And in 9th place, Catrah getting his first series win. I think it was only a matter of time. This team has honestly looked pretty damn good through 3 weeks, and I would not be surprised to see this team get some more W's throughout the season. JEBAW and the Sappers, unfortunately with that series, that first game was so competitive. I really do think that Catrah's team probably wins that. But they ended up replaying the game, ended up playing 2 new games, and Catrah did end up winning both of those. So unfortunately, he didn't score any points this week, but I do have faith in him to get some more points throughout the season. I mean, he took a point off of MacRain and the Materia Hunters, and 2 other good teams that he has played haven't done that. So that's an impressive feat in itself. I think these standings are competitive, and I think they'll continue to be competitive throughout this season. So that being said, Week 3 is in the books. Just want to let you guys know, I mentioned this in the Rundoll video yesterday, but Week 4 is going to look very, very different. Up to this point, every single week, I have one of the divisions come out Tuesday morning, 6 a.m. Central Time, and the other video come out Wednesday morning, 6 a.m. Central Time. Week 4, I'm going to guess, is probably going to be a little delayed. I am going on vacation for an entire week. I will be out of the state. I will not have access to my computer, so I cannot record matches and stuff like that. Instead of basically putting out the video probably an entire week late, because I truly don't think I would have the time to sit down and record and do everything that I want to do, I am letting the other players in the league record the matches and cast them themselves. So I think it'll be a really cool experience to get some unique insights, some unique thought processes, and kind of offer the players to, you know, put their own voice on it, or maybe even their own face on some of these games. And I don't know, I just want to give them an opportunity to be a part of it, to be a little, bigger part of the casting and stuff like that. So I won't be casting the games for Week 4. The players will be doing that. I think we've got 4 or 5 different players who want to do it. So it'll probably be like 2 or 3 games or 2 or 3 matches each for each of those players. But it should be a good time. That being said, I think the videos, if I had to guess, will probably come out 1 or 2 days later. So it'll probably be up Wednesday, Thursday at that time, or Thursday, Friday, rather than Tuesday, Wednesday. But after that, Week 5 through 9 should be on the exact same schedule that they have been to this point, back to the 6 a.m. Central Time, Tuesday, Wednesday morning, and we'll be back at it, and I'll be recording those games. But Week 4 will be different, but I'm excited about it. I think it'll be a lot of fun. So that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like and subscribe button down below, and leave a comment, more importantly, telling me what teams you thought were cool, which teams you think might make that top 4, what you want to see more of, any tips for the league, anything like that, leave them down below and just let me know. Thank you guys so much. Love you all. Have a wonderful day.